Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your Dependable Partner Smooth Move podcast. Today we have Kerri Johnson from GOMO Travel on, and she has a very interesting and needed service. Frankly, I wish I thought of it because it's fabulous. So go ahead, Kerri, tell us exactly what you do.
Well, thank you for saying that it's fabulous. We think that it is, and so do the families who utilize our services. So I'm the founder of GOMO Travel. We do assisted travel anywhere in the world, primarily, of course, in the United States, but we have been to 13 countries as well. So we can go anywhere in the world. We provide the much needed travel assistance for those who may have as they age, they may have some cognitive decline. They may have some mobility concerns or issues that need to be addressed when traveling. Or some are just simply afraid to fly. And so we work with those folks as well. But we offer registered nurse travel companions to travel with somebody wherever they need to go. So it could be a door-to-door type of scenario where maybe down in Southeast Florida, you have a family that wants to move their aging parent down towards, your area here in Southeast Florida. But they just don't know how to get their loved one down from, say, New York, New Jersey, California, Ohio, wherever it may be. So we can actually send a registered nurse to pick them up at their door and make all of the ground transportation, make all of the flight arrangements, and then also the ground transportation on the receiving end. And we communicate, we just take care of all of the logistics that sometimes are overwhelming for families. And then we safely can get them to their new destination. So that's what our business since COVID. Now, I started the business before COVID, 6.5 years ago. I really thought it was going to have more of a leisure perspective to it. We were going to help maybe grandmother get to a family wedding or grandfather to get to a reunion. But then when COVID hit, there was no non-essential travel. And luckily, we had a relationship with the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. So during COVID, when people weren't traveling, there were still people who absolutely had to travel for their life-saving treatment. So we actually had tremendous growth in 2020 with the Mayo Clinic. And what that did is it really shifted our business to more needs-based. So we really do focus on that now because so many families just don't know how to help their loved one to move. So we can do a leisure trip, which may be helping somebody on a cruise for a week or explore a new country, or, we've done so many different leisure trips as well. But we do pride ourselves on the difficult trips that families really struggle with how to come up with a solution.
I mean, it's really a fabulous, fabulous service. I mean, I just know for me personally, traveling with my parents for pleasure, like to go up north, I can't tell you how many times I get off the plane and say to my siblings, never again. I'm not doing this ever again. You have to understand, like, two parents, both of them need wheelchairs, two dogs, two canes, two walkers. I mean, it's insanity. And by the time I get there, I'm just like,
right. We hear that a lot. And actually, it's funny that you say that today. We have a nurse en route right now with a traveler who has high anxiety, and her family also has high anxiety. So can you imagine if they were together, how they would be feeding off of each other? It's not pleasurable, like you said, the word
oh,
pleasure
I
is
can
not
imagine.
pleasurable.
I can imagine.
But with our trained nurse, they know how to kind of de-escalate some of that anxiety, how to meet them where they're at, how to make them comfortable, make sure they're safe, and really smooth out the travel experience. So I know that if our travel companion was not on this trip today, the family would have pulled out their hair by now.
Yeah, I
When
mean,
you say travel, is it just flying, or what if they're taking a train, or what if they're driving even? I mean,
That's a
some
great
people unfortunately can't be on a plane, I'm guessing.
Right, that's a great question, Brian. So we can do any mode of transportation. We can do train travel, as you said, driving, ground transportation, cruises, those types of things. Um, because of most of what we do are relocations, helping people to move to where they need to be later in life, uh, it is cheaper to fly. And although the cost of the airfare exists, it's much faster and it's much more predictable for us. So if you were driving, let's say this New York to Florida scenario that we use a lot because we do that a lot. If you were driving from New York versus flying, it's more expensive, even though there's the airfare involved because of the time
And the
commitment.
hotel rooms and
Right.
stopping
Correct.
and,
And
And
it's
then if you have an older person, you have to stop more frequently because they have to get up and move around. You know, they
uh-huh.
can't sit that long.
And restrooms are not predictable. So we find in the flying environment with the airport and the airplane and the relationship we have with the airlines and how we do what we've done for 6.5 years, that flying is the better option. We can have somebody to Florida in their new location by lunchtime. Because we take first early morning flights, and we do that mainly for several reasons, but mainly because there are less delays on those early morning flights. But we make those arrangements. We pick up the traveler in a car service, and that's been arranged, or a wheelchair van service that has been arranged. So we take care of all of that. Yes, it's early, but we can have them to your area in Southeast Florida by lunchtime. I mean, who wants to drive for 20 hours?
yeah, I just took a 7 o'clock flight from LaGuardia yesterday and got in, and I had to drive 3 hours to LaGuardia. I was in Hudson Valley, New York, so I had to leave at 2 in the morning just to get.
Mhm. Yep.
I'm so curious to hear your origin story, Kerri. Like, how did this? How did you come up with all this? What's the backstory?
Well, that's another great question, Brian, because it really is the passion behind our purpose. So I'm a registered nurse of 35 years. I was in spine surgery sales for 17 years, selling spine implants to neurosurgeons. And one day I looked around, and I didn't see any 50-year-old female sales representatives. They were all young. And I thought, wow, I'm actually going to age out of my job just simply because I'm aging. So I went to business school in my 40s and obtained my executive MBA because I wanted to own a business. And at the time, I didn't know what that was going to be, but I wanted to own a business. Then Long story very short, I found out that my father who raised me was not my biological father. And I went in search of my biological father in 2017. And when I found him, he had dementia and he could
Mm.
not safely travel alone. He couldn't safely get to the airport. He couldn't make connecting flights. So it was this moment that I thought, all right, I have corporate travel experience. I'm a registered nurse. I'm going to help people to travel. So that's the origin behind why I do what I do. There's also a lot of gratification that we've gotten over the years from helping families in need. And so it's really fueled the existence of this business because it is not an easy business. As you can imagine, the logistics alone of travel is stressful. And then we're adding in a component of an elderly, typically elderly, sometimes they're younger. We help people of all ages are 18 and older. Sometimes they're younger, but again, the majority of what we do, the senior population, and there's just a lot of complexities to what we do. So being able to provide solutions to these complex travel challenges really fuels us to keep doing what we're doing and growing our business.
That's a fantastic story. It's always some personal experience. This, in my experience, it's a personal experience that brings people to this field of helping our seniors
Mhm.
by what we've had to deal with in our own personal lives and see a gap that needs to be filled. So it's amazing. I have a question though. You mentioned that you do the early morning flights, and yeah, they're definitely more predictable, but it's sometimes very hard to get an older person out of the house that early in the morning. Do you have some assistance with that to make sure they get up, get dressed, they have everything, or that's all on their own?
Well, we do kind of communicate with the family what the plan is. Also, if they're leaving a current assisted living facility or memory care, we do work with the staff there and talk about the plans, why we're picking them up at 4 a.m. or whatever time it may be. It's very, very early, and we understand that that's may not be the best case scenario for the staff or the family at home, but it is the best case scenario for the traveler because travel delays are, can be
Brutal,
brutal. Yes.
just brutal.
So we work with them sometimes with like one little common suggestion we give is have them go to sleep in the clothes that they'll be traveling in.
That's
So
very smart.
they don't have to get up and physically get dressed. And sometimes it's just easier. We can get them from their bed into our wheelchair. Our nurses travel with our own wheelchairs. So we have a wheelchair right there on site, and we can get them right from the bed to the wheelchair and then into the vehicle or the wheelchair van and then onto the plane. So that's just a tip, that
I'll tell
we
you
discuss.
It's a
what,
good tip. I might use it for myself.
I'll tell you what I'm hearing. That this, and I want it to be sort of very clear. This isn't just a concierge service that's taking person from point A to point B. Okay, these are registered nurses, and I traveled with my mother-in-law. She should rest in peace, and she she was not well,
Mhm.
and we made the trip from Baltimore to Florida, Florida to Baltimore. We made lots of trips,
Mhm.
and there were occasions where she needed some medical attention
Mhm.
that obviously I can't give. Um, I think that that's so comforting to the family to know that it's not just a concierge person, pick a car service, let's call it, picking you and dropping you and have a good day. You have a medically trained professional literally from beginning to end.
R-
And that to me is just so critical, so unique. I'm curious how people find your service, Kerri. Like, I wouldn't know there is such a thing.
Right.
Right. And I think, that's our biggest challenge is marketing, and getting the word out about this type of business. We have now a lot of national contracts and national partnerships with senior housing, senior placement providers, moving companies, those types of things that help to spread the word. Right now, we're working on our SEO with our website management to help when people search for travel assistance for seniors that they can find us. That's the big battle, and we have had growth year over year. So what we're doing is working, but it's still we need opportunities like this with this podcast and with moving companies to get the word out about our service because most people don't know that it exists. If you go to our website, we have on our homepage we have a 4-minute video. It's called the Gomo Travel Story. And at the end of that story, I say, and I always think of this, that when you have a toothache, you know to call a dentist, or if you have a water leak, you know to call a plumber. But nobody knows that when you need travel assistance, that there is a business such as ours out here that can help people to travel. And so, a little bit of information about our name because why Gomo Travel? It's a play on FOMO. If you know what the acronym FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. And we didn't want seniors to have the fear of missing out on whatever life should bring them, whether it's human connection with family, perhaps it's exploring a new area, or relocation for end of life, which is really important as well. So there is no FOMO with Gomo. You can go more. And that's kind of how we got our name, Gomo Travel. But you wouldn't know that if you were Googling, for travel assistance. So I appreciate this opportunity to speak on what we do to help spread the word.
I'll tell you what's interesting that I just recently started learning about over the weekend. It has nothing to do with any of this, but it's you might find it interesting. The amount of clicks on Google searches has rapidly decreased,
Because of AI.
right? While AEO has rapidly increased by like 3 million%.
Mhm.
So people aren't necessarily right now going to Google going, gee, I need travel assistance for, my father.
Mhm.
But they are asking various AIs, whether it's ChatGPT or Siri or whatever.
Mhm.
So that to me was
That's
fascinating.
pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, we started getting AI leads about 6 months ago. And we ask on our intake form, how did you hear about Gummo Travel? And we started seeing Gemini,
huh?
ChatGPT,
Yep, yep.
Copilot, different AI extensions. And so it's definitely, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's
that was
upon
very,
us.
very interesting. I hope we get the word out for you because wow, what a great service.
Thank you.
And hats off to you. What a great idea.
Yeah, fantastic.
It
It's
always starts from a need, as Joel said, from a personal need and go, aha.
uh-huh.
Huh?
Yeah. And for me, it's deeper than that. So not knowing my biological father growing up before he had dementia, kind of being robbed of that opportunity could have lasting impacts on me, but instead I created a business because of it.
Yeah,
And so for me, it's a lemonade out of lemons kind of
100%.
opportunity in my
Yep,
life. And
Yeah.
so that fuels me because it cannot fail. We will succeed, and we will succeed to help carry on this mission, which will be my legacy. And so it's very important to me, and it's very important for the families whom we help, because they are exasperated by the time they've called us because they don't know what to do.
sure. 100%.
100%. 100%. I have a quick question. It just occurred to me. What about like dialysis patients? Because I know some people they want to go on a cruise. They're trying to find a cruise that has dialysis, or can you help in that scenario as well? Because sometimes they can't really go anywhere.
Right. Yeah, that's tough because they usually have Monday, Wednesday, Friday dialysis, and they would have to find a cruise ship that could accommodate that. But that's not something that we typically get our hands in, and we don't become their medical provider. And because we're typically with them for a short time, we don't assume that responsibility of being their medical provider. So there are some limitations that we have, but for the most part, for what we do, the calls that we get, we can help. There are some that we cannot, it's just beyond what our capabilities are,
Case by
but
case
mhm,
basis. Okay,
yes. Mhm.
interesting. It's a very interesting thing that you do. So well needed, and I'm so glad that we've met and that we can do the podcast with you because the word really needs to get out. Because I
Yeah.
know there are a lot of people they need to go places. In fact, I know somebody who I think his parents are moving from Baltimore down here eventually because they just got out of rehab, so he can't move them yet. But I think this would be a great service for them.
Yeah, so with our nurses, with the fact that we travel with wheelchairs and we have assistive devices to get them in and out of the airplane seat, they can be completely immobile. They can not even be able to bear weight, and we can get them on the airplane.
Wow.
So that's something that when people come out of rehab that they may not know is an option. As long as they're medically stable to travel,
Mhm.
then we can help them. So it could come to fruition maybe for you, Joelle, sooner than you think, if they had a service like ours.
Right, of course. It's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there a success story you wanna tell us to end on?
Oh, I think Oh, we have so many. But I will share one that really, to this day, touched me. And aside from helping people get to Mayo Clinic during COVID when there was nobody on the roads, and we were driving people from Florida to Rochester, Minnesota,
Mhm.
nonstop because nobody wanted to go in hotels, or it was other than, I mean, those are obvious success stories. But the one that tugs at my heart, that there's a gentleman who lost both of his parents during COVID, and they were going to have a celebration of life after, when it was safe to travel. And he had or has MS and lived in Sarasota, Florida, and was trying to get to Pennsylvania. And not only did our service help him to get to the celebration of life of his parents, um, I also helped him to get to the front of the church and helped him to stand to give the eulogy.
Oh my god,
Wow.
that's amazing. I mean, I love these success stories because it
Mhm.
really, I think, hits home to people and really gives them a vision about
Mhm.
the things that you can do. That
Well,
is
see, that can't be just for money. That can't
no,
be just, that's a
that's
whole
caring.
different level, Kerri.
Well, right. And I'm glad Joelle spoke up as soon as I ended that sentence because I got choked up because it isn't about the money. It's about people living the life that they want to live, and the fact that he could participate in that with his family is more than any dollar amount that you could put on that.
I mean, you gave him such a gift.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
What this gentleman during COVID that we helped repeatedly, um, he used the word hope. You know, we gave him hope. We gave him hope to get to Mayo Clinic to attempt to fight that cancer. And gosh, I mean, the gratitude, hope, all of these words, fulfillment, human connection, all of these things that our business brings about allows us to keep doing what we do. Because I was getting texts last night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., a nurse in motion, getting somebody on an early morning pickup, these things, all of those words I just used allow me to keep going. And again, you guys giving me the opportunity to get the word out is I'm a very grateful person. So I'm very appreciative of this opportunity.
Well, tell us, Kerri, how, because I keep choking up too by what you're saying, but tell us how people, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
The best way, we love when people go to our website because it's very informative. It's a very thoughtful website. It's gomotravel.com, GOMO travel.com. We also have an 800 number, well, 888 number, so 888-413-8688. And just you can call us. We have ways on our website to reach out to us. You can fill out a quick contact form. So it's very easy to reach us once you know about us. So we're here to help. We have client experience specialists who will take your call, uncover your need, and then we can provide a quote at no obligation, of course, and provide a quote for our services and see if we're able to help.
Super.
Fantastic. Well,
How they
thank you.
find us, Joelle?
How do they find us? They can go to our website at yourdependablepartner.com. And we are a full service, soup to nuts. We move you from either your home or from one community to another community. And you will be able to rest your head in the bed that night like it's set up just like your previous home. So one fixed price. Do you have anything to add to that, Brian?
No, I think you said it beautifully. And,
Okay.
we pride ourselves on being dependable,
Mhm.
much like Gomo, I'm guessing.
Yes.
That's a big key. So I thank you. If you like this, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, certainly we try to bring you information that will be important to seniors and their families on all aspects, and we try to bring it to you every week. So we love your comments. Hit the button below if you are making a transition from one community to another, or from your home to a assisted living, memory care, independent living community. We're happy to help you. Yourdependablepartner.com. Thank you.